Welcome to another edition of the Torino Diaries. You're back here with me on Busternet. Well, as it turns out, last episode we beat Juventus, and that was enough to win the title. So the last three games became, you know, just a thing. Okay, after that, after being knocked out of the Champions League, we went on and we just sealed the title, beating Juventus 1-0, and then we didn't look back again. Z Gomez bagging himself quite a fair few goals, but unfortunately he will never be the player we thought he'd be. He is never going to be the man. Well, in terms of how we did, we won the Serie A, we won the FIFA Club World Cup Championships, won the Super Cup. Unfortunately, we lost in the quarterfinals of the Italian Cup, and we lost in the first knockout round of the Champions League. That defeat to Milan, well, yeah, almost the wheels almost got undone. In terms of squad, we did pretty good. In terms of goals, Z Gomez bagging in 39 goals. So much on my target of 100 goals. Andrea Bellotti, 18 out of 20, got recalled to the Italian side. Matthias Pereira bagging in 14 goals from 25, which isn't too bad. Paragini, 9 from 25. Baselli has such a good performance in all our matches. You know, his average rating was very high. But unfortunately, they didn't want to call him into the side, the national side, which was a real disappointment for us, you know. He never made it to the national side. Bruno Perez 7.96, Z Gomez 7.73. On the whole, not too bad, the average ratings. Pretty happy with how we've done, and pretty happy with the general result of the game, of our matches. We didn't get many chances to play people like Pereira, Girardo, some of the younger players who barely got a chance to play. Marco Milani, Soran Popa, Nicoletti. This will hamper their development, so we need to do something about it in the future. Overall, the season was not bad. Okay, I am a bit concerned about how we lost to Genoa in the Italian Cup, and then to Milan. More interestingly was this match against Benfica, playing against the system. It made me realize that perhaps I should also be focusing on probably my set pieces, making sure they work properly. Transitions affect set pieces too, and if you don't set them up perfectly well, then you'll have issues. On top of that, my set piece takers were not defined. So now I've gone into the game and we have defined our set piece takers a lot more closely, and that has helped. Overall, it was a good season. Financially, we're going to take a hit, so somebody is going to be let go from the club. I'm going to be flogging some players off because we still want to be making something like 40 million this year. So financially, it's not going to be as prolific as our previous seasons, so we'll have to think about who to sell, who to make money from. And we have people coming in showing interest for Paragini, for Z Gomez, for quite a few players. So we'll have a look-see and see what's happening. Polsano has attracted interest. Even Sam Johnston, who hardly plays, has attracted interest. So we'll see what the transfer market says. And we have some players that might be coming in. Esteban Bravo is coming in. We're negotiating Karovic and Poveda. These are two other players. I'm looking at the young players. He's 21 years old. He's a central defender that might be playing for us. And this other guy, Cristobal Poveda, is a central midfielder or a wide midfielder who has options. However, once again, I have a philosophy of keeping the cost down. So if they turn out to be over the top, they won't be coming. So I've Esteban Bravo, yeah, he's definitely coming in. He joins the 1st of July. I let him stay in to carry on playing in Racing Club because he'll develop there. He's a first team player in the club anyway. So if he was to come to our club, he's probably not going to get a look in. In terms of how we're gonna plan for next season. That's gonna be interesting. Oh my God! First news: we've got a new stadium coming. I don't believe this. 127 million pound stadium. The construction of Torino Stadium. That's the name of the stadium, I guess. And it's gonna be able to seat 39,947. Well, okay, it's a bit of a disappointment. I was hoping for more seats, but yeah, okay, so we'll take 40,000 then. So we're not going to be 75,000 or 80,000 or 100,000. Why couldn't they have waited until we had more money? I don't understand. But they've gone ahead and they've built a stadium, a new stadium. May hopefully, yes, it has the ability to expand, because 39,947 just seems ludicrous. Well, without any Champions League action, I'm kind of interested to see how other teams did. Benfica, who knocked us out. Okay. In that round, I think a few of us went out. Juventus also went out of the Champions League. So Juventus was knocked out. We were knocked out. The whole Italian representation ended in that round. They went through to the knockout quarterfinals. They did well. They knocked Leverkusen off and made it as far as the semi-final, where they ended up losing to Chelsea on home and away, 2-0. That's at Bayern and Chelsea final. Bayern hammering Chelsea in the final. Well, not too bad. At least I lost to a semi-finalist. It wasn't some bad thing that happened. And in terms of my squad, now that we've ended the season, one of the things that I love to do, and I always do this every season, is come to decide what I'm going to do next season. And this season is no different. This season, what I plan to do is going to be pretty solid. I have a plan that I slept over last night, and it's going to see quite a number of my players go on loan. And I'll pick players like Nicoletti, Mino, maybe Marco Milanese, players who did less than 10 appearances. Okay, they are all gonna be going on loan. Federico Girardo will probably go on loan as well, but he managed to get in 9 matches, 9 and 10 matches. I tend to keep them, but those guys like Marco Di Alejandro, they're going on loan. Rui Pereira will go on loan. Marco Milanese, and this lot will definitely go on loan. Another thing I like to do is watch how my loanees are doing, and you can see them in terms of key tackles. One of my players who's on loan, Rune Sivertsen, has put in more key tackles than our first team players. 30 key tackles this season, which is made me sit up and take notice of him. 18 years old, he's on loan. He's from our under 20 side. You can see quite a number of my players are on loan, and he has performed quite well. Hao Martins as well, he's on loan, and Ruben Frabi. So in terms of under 18s, quite a few of them are doing quite well. So I'm gonna have a look at Rune Sivertsen, who's injured for 2 to 3 weeks, and still keep him on loan. But I think players like him, I'll have to keep a closer eye on these players, because they've got a solid future with the club. Since we didn't lift the Champions League, finances will not be as superb, so I'm gonna have to do these loan things so that I can make sure that we make decent money. Emmanuel Martino, he was on loan, so he played 32 games for Pro Vercelli, which is good. 736 rating, that's not bad. Pro Vercelli, this season they did pretty good as a team. 21-year-old, he had a 7.33 average rating, so that's good. 1 goal, not bad. Unfortunately, this guy is supposed to be the long-term replacement for Bruno Perez, and I managed to bring in another player to cover for Bruno Perez, because I was worried that he's overplaying one too many matches, and his name is Michel. He turned out to be quite a steal at over 2.5 million, and he's not doing too badly as well. I spent 2.9 million on him, took him from Sassuolo, and his ratings have been 7.55 the whole season. Played 15 matches as cover, so I thought, yeah, why not? This guy is gonna be a solid ad, and so far we've been doing okay. So this is what I do. once the season ends. I analyze my team, decide who's going to be going on loan and who's performed well, what are we going to do in terms of our training and player development. And I'm a bit worried that we're so reliant on this guy, Marco Benazzi. But what can I do when I have a play like this? I have to use him. And the other option I would have had is to play someone like Popa. That unfortunately, I also discovered that Popa has certain issues. He does not have the aggression of Benazzi. Benazzi is a far more aggressive player. So Popa isn't as aggressive as Benazzi. And that could be one of the reasons why I still want to find a super central midfielder. Alan could play in that position. However, he's already 29 years old. I expect him to play only for 1 or 2 more seasons before I decide I need to sell him. When it comes to tactics, probably familiarity, they give me a kick up the ass. So what I'm going to do is try something this season, which is to make 3 versions of the same tactic: defensive, structured, control structured, and attacking fluid. And then, but still start with one tactic like this, go and change mentalities in a game. Because if you see this, if I go control, it goes fluid. So I think I'm just gonna have to make sure that we start the season off playing defensive structure in all our preseason games, and then we should be fine because all the other tactics were fluid. And we're gonna clean up my set piece routines. We're gonna make sure that I don't have nonsense at the back from past tactics. Okay, so here we go to the left, making sure that we have only the correct ones inside here. The right, and we should be fine now. Okay, we only got 2. Then when it comes to defense, same thing. I got way too many of these right now. Okay, so all these get deleted. So we sort out and make sure that all our tactics are now sorted, that we have the right set pieces stored, because I wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing enough of that last season. I was missing it, but half the time I'm just winging it, and well, that's not something that we should be doing every single game. In terms of corners, ideally I would like to have better players taking my corners, but we'll stick to this at the moment. And the other thing I've got to do is find Marco Benazzi's replacement. Okay, I've got Popa and I've got Trankovic in the team, but I have to go through all my scout reports right now, clean up my scouting as well, and reassign most of them, except for those who still are out scouting. The rest I'm just going to delete and have a clean slate again, and off we go. And a lot of it will depend on my knowledge. The areas that they need to be worked on, like Belgium, I have to send scouts there, Austria, Ukraine, Uruguay, Mexico, Poland. The big ones, I still got people there: Brazil, Argentina, Serbia, Switzerland, Sweden, Spain, Slovakia, Romania, Portugal. I have got people there all the time, so that isn't too bad. But we're gonna have to work on some of the other countries. So one of the first things I do here is this. Okay, I make sure I scout the hell out of these reports before I delete them, and then I'll restart them again. So we're gonna go through all of these, and I'm not gonna do it while I'm doing this YouTube video. So what do I do when I go through my scout reports? It's very simple. It seems a bit complicated, but maybe it's my system. I make sure that thing is, all these scout reports, the 73 or odd scout reports, I clean scouts up. I delete everything that I like to have a clean slate. So I go to my knowledge and see the countries that are maxed out. These are all the maxed out countries, right? So I don't worry about these because chances are I always have a scout there all the time. Okay, so then I clean up the rest and I go through any of these scouting reports. Liga people via Spain, I've got one. Bundesliga, I got one. Champions League, I got one. Hot prospect here. This guy's in Argentina, he'll stay. This guy's in Portugal, he'll stay. This guy's in Romania, he will not stay. Who's this guy? He's in Romania. Okay, so I'll go to this guy, Cristian Papalato. You're from Romania. What have you found? Have you found anybody worth keeping? Then I'll go through each of these players and see whether they're worth it. If they're not worth it, if they're worth it, I add them to my shortlist. Okay. indefinitely or whatever, and if I like them, they're on my short list, then Christian Papalato is told, thank you, you're free. So he goes free, and I got another scout that's free. So this allows me to focus in on other things as well. So I go through my scout reports, and this is exactly what I do. Then once I'm satisfied, I go to knowledge. I have within my own game kind of a system where I have different tiers of countries. I've got my grade A countries like Brazil, France, Germany, Italy, England. These are my grade A countries. Grade A countries have a scout all the time. Then I've got my grade 2 countries, which is one tier lower, and it all depends on the level of football that they're playing at and the facilities that they have. Then I will have another scout there. So these are grade 2 countries like they could be Romania, they can be Slovakia, they can be Croatia. There's a whole list of them. I did it on my blog, and you can read about it over there. So these are my grade 2 countries, and I have people covering these countries as well. So whenever a grade 2 country like Belgium drops like this, then I have to send a scout over and scout them again. And Ukraine, I'm going to scout them again. So I'm going to scout these countries one more time until it becomes max. So once all the fun is done, because I kind of like preseason, I don't like to rush through it. And once I've done my preseason, I've done everything, and I've looked at my club, I've looked at everything else, I've cleaned everything up. Then it's time for me to do a bit of UI stuff. I handle my UI. I look at my training. I look at my familiarity. I see the areas that I have to focus in. So next season I start with tactics first, after fitness and preseason, and then we just wait for the boys to come back from preseason. And then I start worrying about who wants who. Well, our scouts have come in. Potentially there's one player that could be playing as a playmaker in the future. We're gonna scout him a bit more and check him out. He looks pretty solid. 20-year-old who's got some potential. He's not gonna be too expensive, between 3 to 5.5 million within our budget. And his composure, his bravery is a bit of a dodgy thing. We'll track this player and see how he does. Well, Italy have dropped 2 places in the Champions League's rankings, so that means less spots for us. The other thing is Z Gomez has attracted interest, Matthias Pereira has attracted interest, so my best players might be going. Z Gomez ended up being Europe's top marksman, building the golden boot, golden shoe. So my plans this season, very simple. Some players have already gone. Marco Di Alejandro is off. Avila on loan. These guys are all going to be on loan as well. Milanese, Nicoletti, Martino, they're all on loan. We brought in 2 more players. We've got 3 players actually. We've got a defender called Esteban Bravo, who's already gone on loan. There you can see here. And we got this guy, Rune Sivertsen, who's potentially going to be a very good defender. He's gone on loan as well. So I've chucked them all off to loan spell. Some under 20s have been given a run in the first team. And we have this new player called Matias Suskovic. He's joined the club. I didn't have very high expectations for him, right? So he's like just a prospect. Guess what? The prospect decided to introduce himself with 5 goals in 2 matches. And every single one of his goals is from range. He doesn't score anything from inside the box. He scores them all from outside the box. Just check these goals out. And this blinder came from range. I don't want to get my hopes up too high. Champions League will be a big feature for us this season. Hopefully we do well in the league. I'm going to keep the same system and tactics. I've cleaned things up in preseason, and preseason training is underway. Hopefully we get our act together and we perform well this season. That's the whole goal. We don't want to mess things about and screw things over. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the show. It's the wrap for season 5, and I'm getting ready for season 6. Let's see who's going to be left in the club, and I'll get you up on all of that news on the next show, which is the first episode of season 6. Until we meet again, you have a good one. Bye bye.